marinating here on the last 3 days on the QQQs. I wouldn't call these like high level levels here. they're the cream of the crap. We had an okay close after really like kind of an inside day. We'll see what's going on. My gut feelings, we kind of drift higher today, just based on we've eaten up whatever. We've kind of eaten up that Powell testimony and all this stuff. And it just feels like there's not that much juice left on the short side. Like every time the market's, really needs to kind of pull hard, it just kind of flatlines. We've run out of some range of recent. So my guess is we drift higher, but that's a wild guess. We'll have to see how we react around here and see if we actually start to push. We've had we had really a nasty day yesterday. That was a fucking fugazi, right? Fugazis are like the worst days. Chop days, you'll lose more money than even like, being wrong on certain days. Because at least when you're wrong on certain days, like it's like, oh man, I fucked that up. Like, market's trending and I didn't do this. And you can kind of play a little bit of catch up. On the chop days, there is no catch up because, every time you short, the market reverses and then you long it. And then the market reverses and you end up getting tagged both ways. And it can be like a death by really 1,000 paper cuts right on the nuts. And that's right. For those of you guys that have tried to manscape your nuts before, it's very dangerous. There's a lot of lifting and probing, and it's not even something you really want to do. It's really a hot mess. Be free, grow it out. Let it bush up a little bit. It'll look like you got a nice poof coming in your pants while you're walking around the gym in your shorts. That's nice, right? That's the way to feel a little bit manly, But you don't want to do these chop days. There's just no such thing as fun on these kind of days. So today we drift a little bit higher. We'll see what's going up. And look, there's more than enough kind of PR plays and stuff like that today of recent. So let's take a look and see what kind of earnings plays we got. Earnings season is really dying down for the most part. We've got like a handful of names yet left. No small caps on Wednesdays. The drill. Look at this is a pump and dump. I'll let you youngsters deal with this one. El Toro. Dude, do you guys remember the El Toro tequila? They had the hat as the cap. That shit was amazing. El Toro, this is a dumper. Oh, Silvergate. Hey, that side's going basically bankrupt. This is all junk too. Kennesaw Pecan. No liquidity. Trash. Asan. Anybody ever try to use Asana for work? It's really a fucking piece of shit. We should short it just for that. I had to waste so much time trying to learn that thing just to make some to-do lists for your employees that are never going to do work anyways, because we live in America. And unless you're hiring good, solid Indian folks, you're really never going to get any work done, never going to get any work done. So I use this Asana for like 6 months, but because white people can't really use computers properly, nobody could really get this thing going. I couldn't get it going. And then we had to ditch it. For that alone, I'm very pissed at Asana, but I'm just kidding. I never used Asana before, but I was going with it. I was about to really start rolling, but I had to stop. I stopped myself. And that right there shows maturity, improvement. I am growing up in front of your eyes. You see that? I stopped myself. I had a good shtick going about that Asana for a second, and I stopped myself. Ooh, Saba, this thing's a big hairy turd too. Man, this thing's gap up in the middle of nowhere, huh? What's the PR on this bad boy? No, insider buy. Hey, you know what? Last time I had insider buy, I fucking freaked out for a few days though. Yeah, it was a fugazi, but let's see. Insider purchase. Man, it's gapping up right in the no man's land. Hmm. I put it on, but I don't like the location of the day. It's a C plus. FSL. Gosh darn, this thing's a turd. This thing's a turd, which is like probably, even though I don't like small caps, this one is like a little bit thicker. You know, you won't get fugazi, you won't get the double lutsies and all this kind of stuff. I'd add this right now. You know, the reason is like a lot of these cheapies, like you get to Weight Watchers a couple days ago, you know, a lot of these ones that have like these kind of big bases, you know, they're just kind of doing these 1 day short squeezes when the earnings come out and then they die off. But, you know, we can't discount that on FSL. I doubt it would be like Weight Watchers because it floats a lot higher, but probably let's add it for now. Shh. America. America, baby. Ooh, beaches. Oh shit. Beaches. If we do this, then we got to add dicks on the watch list too. Oh shit. You know what? This actually might work. It might work. I put a spot about 79.50. You know, you got a breakout setting up. I don't know how juicy this thing is. The liquidity on it so far is not that beautimous, but I think we can add that for now. Ooh. Roku Nation. Hey, so this is one of those ones, like if the market actually decides to push today, you may get some juice on something like this. Like it's coiled up here. You can draw these lines however you want, right? But the market holds. This one is good to go. We add it. GE, PayPal. I didn't see anything on this one, but that might work too. Not my style of play. Hey, this Uber. This has got a nice level. So if you go to the 30-minute chart here, right, you've got kind of a trend line break that's been setting up. And then, you know, this kind of 34, 35 zone, it's never really a trigger. It's like a zone of love, right? You got to think of it as a little bit of a zone of love. That's nice. Now, the issue on this one, the big hairy butt, is going to be this thing is not like the ATR on this is $1, right? So the average true range on this is $1, and it's a grinder. So the ATR on a 5-minute, like on a 5-minute candle basis, is 10 cents probably. So it's a grinder. So what I mean by that is like if you get into something like this, you got to be prepared to kind of, it's a trender grinder kind of trade. Like it can go a buck or two, but it's going to happen like over time. It won't be like you won't get MPCs out of it, and you definitely won't get NRBs out of it. There's no chance of getting NRB and minimal chance of getting MPCs. And so it's a trender grinder. I like the overall look of it, but you just got to remember, like, this is not, you're not going to get an MPC out of this thing. Ooh, laser, possibly bouncy. All right, let's get back into the regular watch list now. All right. AI. You got 3 down days right down into the support zone here. This could work as a potential bounce. This company's probably a turd. The only reason it's gone up is because of its name. I doubt, I would be shocked. I don't know anything about this company, but just knowing the stock market, I would be grossly shocked if they do any AI. They just lucked out with a nice name, and so now this thing shreds. The odds of them doing any AI is probably very small. So, this thing's just going up because name. I'm surprised somebody, it's only $3 billion company. I'm surprised somebody doesn't just come and buy them for the name, for the ticker. That actually makes more sense than buying out the company. You got soft open on this. The one thing on this stock, it always does better on the red to greens. We'll have to see if this holds up. We got the push, orderly pullback. This is probably the day. This is probably the day to bounce this thing. I mean, that's 6 windows worthy. Yeah, I put that on the 6 windows layout. Yeah, let's add that. Cool. Now, I think lasers also pulled back here. This might be a little bit of a day trader, but you've got this big breakout here. The dips on this have been getting bought. We've got Uber, at least CVN alone. Unless Tesla and all the rest of them go, then I wouldn't really touch this one, but it is sitting right on the support that it's been really hugging. So this gap was from earnings. It's been digested. I mean, it's really coiled up here. This one also, this one's tighter than a goose's caboose, I'll tell you that. How I know that is from just years of farming experience. But this thing would require a lot of market participation. You need spec money for this kind of trade, but it's there. Like the setup is there. It's digested this kind of shit earnings, and we're going to need a little bit of love on that, but I think it's there. Hey, this Affirm had basically an inside day yesterday. There's still a level here at 1180. If the market does decide to roll over, let's kind of come in on that 1175, 1180 if we need a short. We got Roku. You know what? I've been watching this Donkey Kong. I think this might be more of a swing trade type of stock. I mean, it is. It just doesn't have enough range. UPST is also sitting on support, right? You got this 50 SMA hold again. It's just got to kind of come out of the zone again. I think you'll have a nice release point, maybe 1825. I mean, right now it's just in a sandwich, but it does seem to like coming off that support. Azul, that means blue in Spanish, for those of you that never went to college. Pass. Dance, pass. Oh, yeah. This I like too. 41, 42 trigger, 42, 25 secondary trigger. Always better to be early than last kind of name. And then you got tons of support here at the 40, 50 mark. So we're in the box. Well, this box looks like it could release today, and it could happen real fast. This also will need market participation because this type of pattern doesn't work in shit markets. SE had inside day, right? So we had the big push on earnings. Inside day, this is a show and go. If it goes red to green and takes out the range, this is probably could give us a little bit of an MPC. That's nice. Go to, right? You're just kind of doing a marination here after the flat top breakout. It needs a little bit of work here because, I mean, obviously you could see this kind of, it peaked out and just doing all this shit, but it's still there. Maxing had earnings out. I think this is a day 2 play. Watch the red to green on this one. It does trade a little bit thin, so watch your size at the open, meaning if you were doing, this is $26. If you did 3,000 or 4,000 shares of AI, because that's really liquid, you would do 1,000 on this. So I would cut the size into like a third. It'll have range anyways, but the liquidity on this is going to be, it's going to have probably a 10-cent spread. Twilio. I've got an alert set on this. It does need a little bit of work. Like you can see, it's got to do some back in and fill in here still. It's got to do a little bit of back in and fill, but it's getting there. I keep an alert around this, 74-ish area. This is a little bit more speculative. DM's had after big earnings push, you had an inside day, kind of 2 inside days. The double inside day, I keep an alert around 255-ish. That might be good for a little scalpy McGee. Yeah, I'd pass on that too. And man, this FSLI is teasing. So even when the market was rolling down, this thing was just hanging. So like even when Powell was speaking, this thing had this like awesome rebound. It's marinating here. It's got good range. It's got good, solid, God-fearing Christian range right here. Right? Fuck it up. It's got the same setup as Roblox, 1560. Let's roll with this. Hey, Squarespace, after the earnings push inside day, 28. I do 2750, 2775 trigger, give or take. Set alerts on all this stuff. That way you don't miss anything. It's a lot easier. If you just set enough alerts, like you'll be able to kind of roll with. And then the last one we got is AMD, right? AMD's been the relative strength leader, meaning like even when the market's been kind of shit, like it's been holding up, right? You've had a series of just strong days. This is going to be, if it takes out yesterday's highs, will probably be good for some scalpy McGee's. That's the list. I can't think of anything else. Let's start to narrow this down a little bit, though. Yeah, you can do AMD's always on the list, I want to consider any of these. Oh no, my watch list is getting so damn big. All right. BJ says, I wouldn't consider any of these gappers like A pluses. Like even this Hassan's been drifting lower. It ran into this resistance. It's just been kind of drifting lower. I think it's got a shred in it, but let's be careful. And then the second 6 windows. I keep organized here, folks. The second one, right? Let's put in Heroku, Ho. Ooh, JD had earnings out too. SL. Actually, over here. Roblox. FSLY. Think we're getting close. What are we missing that's hot? Of course, Maxon for day 2. We want to make sure there's fucking lot of names to watch, huh? Uber, I don't think is worthy. Yeah, NVIDIA is always on the list, right? And this thing is hot too. Hotter than a goose's caboose. I think we should put coin probably on the red to green. Let's put coin on the watch for red to green. Let me see the slope. Hey, this one might be a little bit thin. I see the setup here for you. You can watch. I keep it on the list, but be mindful. Like if it's a $5 stock, it's only doing like 50,000 shares pre-market. You're going to really have some trouble. Good. This is the list. I'm sticking to it. That's the list. What are we missing anything? Just the beans and the franks. And the eagles fly. Ooh. You know, Meta is like kind of one of those things too that's like always on the list. Oppenheimer is his platform. Yeah, that could work. Look at that thing, yeah. Good. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. Hey, Donnie, you know how it was, man. When you're in Lompoc, I mean, that's all they give you. They finally let you go back near schools again. I tried to tell them it was only that one time. Nope. Nobody believed me. You look like you just got a trusting face. Cool. All right, that's the list I'm sticking to. I'll be in the boom boom room till noon. We're lingering too long some days. All right. We're lingering a little bit too long some days, but let's try to make this thing happen fast. All right, we got the sixes. Let's drag these to our monitors and everything, and let's go do what we do, which is the do. America, baby, America. Archie, that's a good one. I think you should add that too. Now let's do this.